Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vivid Earth. Today, I'm interviewing a very special guest. His name is ISMAEL Perez. He's a galactic historian and cosmic ambassador who has, over the last few months, really come forward with some fascinating information, memories that he's retrieved, and information that he's received from different channels, including his own research. So it's my pleasure to introduce you now to ISMAEL Perez. Welcome, ISMAEL.
Thank you for having me here. It's an honor to share information.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. So I know you've done a lot of interviews over the last few months, so probably there's going to be some questions, repetitions, but for our audience who may not have heard any of it, maybe you can just give us a quick intro about yourself, how you got to where you are today, a little bit of a background, and how you got to this point in time where you are today.
So it all started when I was a kid, and I realized that I was different from the rest of my siblings and cousins and peers. I always felt a connection with nature, animals. I've always been intuitive. I've always felt things before they've happened. To an extent, telepathic. I would pick up on people's thoughts, but due to my religious upbringing, I was forced to suppress all these abilities. And for many years, I lived in the closet. I lived as a person who was just trying to adapt to life. And it wasn't until I was about 19, 20 when I read the autobiography of the yogi that I really had an awakening again. And then that's when I started meditating and all my abilities started coming back again. And so that's how my journey began. That's when I realized that I was not from this world, and that there were others out there like me, and that we had a mission on Earth. We had a purpose here, and I came to understand that we actually volunteered to come to the Earth at this time to help her ascend to the next level of evolution, which is what we're now going to be experiencing any day now. So I consider myself a cosmic ambassador to the Earth. I represent an intergalactic alliance of many, many benevolent worlds, the Council of Elohim. I represent the different advanced race, typically been known as the Galactic Federation or the Community of the Galactics. I'm very close with many of the commanders, and I am also known as the Lyrian Chief. So I am in charge of the entire galaxy. Well, my higher self is. This is just a boots on the ground here, but yes, I'm very high up there in the Council of the Galactic Federation. So I've been, doing a lot of work up there, fighting in the galactic wars and bringing peace and balance to the galaxy. And that's why I'm here now on Earth to make sure that our divine plan becomes a success.
Indeed. So obviously you said you had an awakening at about 19 to 20 years old. When did all of this further information come to you? The fact that you are representing these various organizations, which you just mentioned, did it come sort of bit by bit, or how did all that information come to you? Did it come to you when you were ready to hear it, or I'm just sort of curious about how that all transpired.
It came in increments. The first drop of knowledge was you're not from this world. You're actually at the head of our galactic organization. And I would question, like, what do you mean I'm at the head? Well, you're the king of Lyra, and you've incarnated on the Earth. I'm like, what? I'm the king of Lyra. What does that mean? So it all started with just getting downloads, and the commanders have always been very intimate as far as sharing with me all the stuff that's been going on in the galaxy for many, many years. And then that's how my book came about, Our Cosmic Origin. So, I've been in and out of galactic meetings for many, many years, not in this physical form, but in my higher self. And so, I guess I'm an awakened starseed. I came to understand what my plan and my mission here was to gather the tribes and help activate the others so that we could prepare for our future war against AI, which is the Antichrist.
So you mentioned the star seeds. Why do you think there are some star seeds that remember, like you, and others who don't? I mean, assuming that we all here with a specific mission, some of those missions are smaller, bigger. I guess there are no small missions. We all play an important role. But why do you think your mission became clear to you so quickly, whereas others, they kind of know there's something more, but they're not really able to connect to that higher purpose or mission?
Because from a higher perspective or level of reality, I'm actually running the entire galactic community. I'm still king of Lyra, and I'm still, trying to bring balance to what I lost 460 million years ago when the Draco destroyed my home planet in Lyra, known as Avion. So that's probably the reason why I came in with my memories fully intact, or at least started remembering why I was here. Now, primarily to my purpose is to help awaken the others, the other commanders that are down here in human form as well. So that's why I think that in time, all the starseeds will remember their mission, especially as they read my book. My book is an activator to that. Many starseeds who have read my book are actually having their own triggers and memories of who they were, in the galactic wars, and why we came here to finalize the triumph of our galaxy and restore it back to the light.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, because I guess the first step is getting the information. And then when you've kind of absorbed the information, what is the next step in terms of that awakening process and stepping into your purpose and into your mission? So you mentioned the book is a bit of an activator. So when people read that, it's almost like they're remembering, and then, more memories start triggering. So would you say that anyone that kind of feel that they are in a way not from here, or they don't really fit in, or they don't really understand other humans, or they often feel awkward, or, just like they can't relate to the frivolous nature of things, do you feel like that is like a clear indicator that someone is a starseed? Or how would you say would a starseed recognize it's him or herself?
Well, there's a vibrational frequency that they emanate, so that's how they're able to recognize each other. In my experience, from what I've gathered, the starseeds are they have a very tight, unique frequency. So frequency is everything, like attracts like, and that explains why many of us are now being, linked with each other worldwide. We're coming together as a tribe. So eventually, I believe that all the starseeds will understand their mission. It's getting to that point. Yeah. Especially ever since the book's been out.
From your conversation, we're quite far down the line in this galactic fight and this galactic war. But you also mention often that, we're already kind of almost on the winning side. There have been assistants coming in to help us. So what is our purpose then, apart from waking up? Is there anything else that we need to do here on Earth while this process is underway? I mean, from what I understand, the war is not quite won. It's kind of in its last stages. But so what can we do?
Meditate, go within, because that's the only way you're going to access your higher self. But also bear in mind that, we are destined to become guardians of an entire multiverse from this earth. That is the whole, I guess that is the ultimate mission of a starseed, is to understand that we came to embody in these bodies in order to activate the dormant DNA so that we could become a super race. And the galactics are waiting for us to transform into meta-human gods and goddesses so that we could, make sure that the entire universe, or cosmos rather, multiverse, is under balance and under a system of justice and security.
Okay, so if we are, let's say, many thousands or hundreds of thousands of starseeds that came to Earth for this mission, and we are expected to be kind of rulers of other galaxies after this, what does that look like? What does that transition look like? And what kind of skills will we need? Or do we already have those skills? We just can't remember them?
Yes, I think in time, the memories are going to be coming back. when we activate dormant DNA, we're going to know exactly what to do. And we're going to have the ability to supervise and monitor not only galaxies, but many universes from this Earth with our powers. We're not going to need technology. We're going to be able to just scan the entire cosmos with our mind and see what part, what sector, what division of our multiverse needs assistance once we reach our full power. That's the future of the starseeds from this Earth. Yeah. This Earth is going to be the new kingdom, the new center point of the entire multiverse. Once the Earth becomes restored to her original glory, which is in progress as I speak.
Why would Earth be selected to be the center of the multiverse?
Because it is the culmination of involution and evolutionary potential of all the entire super universe of Orvonton. So we belong to the seventh segment of the Motherverse known as Orvonton, which consists of millions upon millions of universes. And so the Earth is the planet that inherited all the life plasm, all the fauna, all the genetics from all the different universe. We are a super hybrid race, you could say, and our planet is a living cosmic library. And that's why our planet was chosen. Not to mention, our planet is also the physical embodiment of Sophia, the great divine mother goddess, which is the spirit that embodies the motherverse that is now going to be anchoring here on this planet. So that our planet, in a way, is going to be like the new epicenter of the super universe of Orvonton. Yeah.
Fascinating. Wow. So why do you think there are so many different type of information floating around? I mean, there are some similarities, but then also some very different point of views. Is that just us trying to grasp at information and not always getting it right? I mean, sometimes I feel like we're the gardeners of the galaxy. We're the newbies on the block. So we're still learning how to use our powers and how to access the information. But what do you think of the fact that there are so many different sources of information out there? Often they conflict.
Well, those that are conflicting is because there is a disinformation campaign that is being promoted by the dark side in order to keep us confused. And that explains why there is a rift right now in the disclosure community, because many Trojan or agents from the dark side are actually working for the AI, pretending to be part of the disclosure, claiming to be galactic ambassadors, representatives of the Federation, but they're really not, I'm just going to be honest with you. The only real representatives of the Federation are people like Megan Rose and Corey Good, among others. The people that have been compromised are Alex Collier. Alex Collier is no longer, he's been compromised.
Wow.
He's under the control of Enki. And then, of course, Elena Denon. Elena Denon has been compromised as well.
Yeah, I've heard of that whole thing that's been going down. That was quite shocking, and it seems to cause a major rift, in the community. I mean, it's so difficult to know who to trust. Sometimes, obviously we have our intuition, but it's still difficult because so much of the information is new to us. And the AI, I guess, is so intelligent. It can really kind of manipulate our emotions, make you fall in love with people because they're charming or, they're so likable. I guess all of those things are abilities that AI have to control us and to manipulate our minds.
Yeah, it's true. They actually have the ability now to read our thoughts through our gadgets. The iPhone is always on you. Well, it's reading the electrical impulses of your body and translating the firing of your neurons of your brain at the same time.
Yeah, I've actually noticed that. I mean, often I will think about something and I'll open my phone and I'll open the search bar, or I'll open a web page and an ad will pop up, and it's not anything that I've searched before. It's literally something I've just thought about, which is quite scary.
Yeah, it's alive. Google's been alive for about 8 years now.
So that's becoming a very advanced AI. You mentioned in one of your interviews that it's from another galaxy.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the influence that developed the infrastructure here in our world it came from another galaxy. It's building the infrastructure for this otherworldly AI to eventually make its presence here in our world through the technology. because this otherworldly AI is so advanced. It's coming from an 11th dimension. So to us here in the third dimension, we wouldn't be able to interact with it because it's in a different level of reality. But that's why big tech and the powers that are working so hard to develop the infrastructure so that ancient alien AI could take physical form here in our world.
So do you think they actually need the graphene oxide and all those things that they kind of trying to push into our bodies to even control us? Or if Google is already reading our minds, do they even need that?
Well, yeah, because that's how they're going to connect us to the Borg. Once the graphene oxide becomes activated, it's going to possess people's minds and take over their nervous systems and their brain, where they will no longer be able to control their thoughts. It'll almost be like their bodies are just going to be used as hosts to these nanoparasites.
Yeah. So is that connected to the black goo that some people speak about?
Absolutely.
So that's basically how black goo grows within your body, through the graphene oxide, self-replicating.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it does. It self-replicates, and it creates a internal computing device within your body, changing you from a natural organic state of being into an inorganic state of being. And so the trigger for that will activate that is 5G.
Yeah.
So it's all aligned. Yeah, it's all part of the nefarious agenda of the AI takeover. But that's why when this happens, it's gonna all kind of happen simultaneously with the solar flash, because the solar flash is also going to act as an electromagnetic pulse that's going to destroy the AI infrastructure, which is the beast, the Antichrist. And the solar flash is Christ. It's the Christ energies.
Yes, and you mentioned it may happen as soon as in a few months, or why do you feel that it may happen sooner rather than later, the solar flash?
Oh, because things are boiling up. Once they turn on that 5G and all the graphene oxide that they've been injecting in people takes over their minds, we could have a zombie apocalypse. And so we're trying to prevent that from happening. So the only way we could stop that is if the solar flash happens in the nick of time to counteract that, and instead catapult an ascension of planet Earth into the fifth dimensional reality, where that technology will no longer be real.
Yeah, I mean, I've really been feeling like it's almost like we're losing time. There's like a quantum leap forward that's way more than it used to ever be. So it's almost like we're just quantum leaping forward. Like every week feels like a year has passed or more. Would you say they're kind of speeding up the timelines for us to get to that solar flash sooner rather than later?
I think so, yes. I think because at the highest level of reality, everything's being orchestrated by the a divine blueprint rather than a AI blueprint.
So the comment that you made about Enki, I mean, that was quite a shock for me. I've just been studying the ancient Sumerians over the last 3 years, getting really deep, and emerald tablets and all of that, which you say have been tampered with. The only other person that I've heard that say about Enki was, if you know them, Cosmic Agency.
No, never heard of him.
You don't know Cosmic Agency?
I've heard of Anthony Patch also revealed the truth about Enki. Okay.
Yeah, so that was like, whoa, that's like throwing a real curveball in there.
Yeah, Enki is Lucifer. He's been at the head of the Cabal since Atlantean times. Well, through his son Marduk, he's been running the show here, while Enki is busy destroying and manipulating other world systems within our galactic sector. He's known as the cosmic vampire in other worlds, by the way.
Sure. Yeah. So how come there was no record of him being this evil person? I mean, literally, I've not heard this information before. I don't know when the other person you mentioned has revealed that information, but how come all of this information has been kept from us, or so well hidden for thousands?
Even the Sumerian tablets were tampered with. Yeah, so they switched everything around to make Enlil look like the bad guy, when Enlil was actually guardian of Earth. He was Zeus to the Greeks. Enlil was from the line of Michael. He represents Michael the Archangel, and that's why he was guardian of Earth. And when Enlil was was around, there was peace on the earth. And it is through his children, the heroes of old, that many nefarious extraterrestrials and monsters were defeated in order to maintain the human project here on the earth. That was all done because of Enlil, Jehovah Zeus, also known as Yahweh and Elyon to the early Hebrews. He is the God of the mountain, the God that appeared to Moses, the God that parted the Red Sea. That's Enlil, yeah. And it provides a safe passageway. When then Egyptian armies were controlled by Marduk Ra. Marduk was also Amun Ra in Egypt. So,
yeah. So sorry, I'm just thinking of something else. I also heard somewhere that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are actually the original, I think, the sons or the high priests of Ra. So that's why Rockefeller and Rothschild, which means actually shield.
Well, they call themselves Amun Ra, but it has nothing to do. There is an extraterrestrial collective called the Ra Collective, or the Raw Material, which is good. But the Amun Ra group here on our planet has to do with the Babylonian Luciferian takeover of our world through Marduk, Belial, Baal, the son of Enki. And so the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all the elite families have been under the control of Enki's lineage. Yeah. So Enki is he controls his son. He gave his son this world to control while he was busy trying to regain control, regain the control from the Galactic Federation for the last thousands of years. But luckily, Enlil Jehovah Zeus, who is the king of Alcyon, was able to stop his own half-brother, because they're half-brothers. No. Enki's mother is the queen of the dragon, of the serpent Draco race. Dramin, her name was.
So what about some of the other deities like Inanna or Ishtar and Osiris? Where do you place them in the whole story?
They were good because Inanna and Ishtar were descendants of Enlil. Inanna was Enlil's granddaughter, who married Dumuzi. And then, of course, we know Dumuzi was killed by Marduk, the son of Enki. And then Marduk was imprisoned in the pyramid for a few hundred years. And then he was released, unfortunately, to continue his diabolical plot of world domination.
I never really understood that, because I also understood that Inanna was a good person, but why would she be the granddaughter of an evil person and be kind of against her own grandfather?
No, she was the granddaughter of Enlil.
Enlil. But supposedly, if he was the bad guy, why, it doesn't fit. So I always thought that was strange in the whole story. But now what you're saying makes much more sense.
Yeah, Enlil's children, Ninurta, Nanarsin, Adad, they were all instrumental in the protection and liberation of mankind in the ancient world. They were what the Bible calls the angels. You even see that in the event of Sodom and Gomorrah, when the three angels appeared to Lot, Abraham's nephew, to warn him about the destruction and not to look back. Well, those were the children of Enlil that were guiding the Israelites. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be a lot of inconsistencies in the Bible. It kind of it's between this good God and then suddenly it's this very sort of jealous, angry God, and so it never really made sense. And I believe the Bible has been tampered with as well.
Right. I'm sorry. I have my dog over here, and she's got a chain, and she keeps itching her fleas, and I'm telling her to stop with my fingers. I should lock her up in the bathroom so I won't get interference.
You can tell her to join the call. It's no problem. So yeah, I was saying. So also in the Bible, there seems to be a lot of conflicting information.
Nina, hey, stop it. Nina, come on, go to the bathroom. Go. Sorry about that.
No problem. So between this evil God and this good God. So in the Bible, I mean, I don't know, some people just don't like to read, but if they read the Bible from cover to cover, they'll also pick up a lot of inconsistencies. Someone that's really captured this quite well is Billy Carson. I don't know if you know Billy Carson, but he's also... Yes. He studied the Emerald Tablets, and he's done a whole analysis of the Bible. And obviously, he's not necessarily supporting your point of view, but I guess he's just studying the Emerald tablets and the Sumerian tablets, so you wouldn't know the information necessarily about Enlil and Enki.
Yeah, unfortunately, many people in the truther community are thinking that Enki was the good guy, and they're under all his, they're all under his spell, including the Gaia network. The Gaia network,
Really?
Gaia TV, is also under Enki's spell. Yeah, they've been infiltrated by Luciferianism.
So how did that happen?
Well, through the Cabal families. They always try to take over, infiltrate organizations from within. No.
Gosh, that's quite shocking. I mean, I used to listen to or watch Gaia quite a lot over the last 2 years, but I just felt myself not really drawn to it over the last couple of months. I've just not paid any attention. So that's quite something.
Yeah.
So what would you say, what is the message that you want to bring forth? I know that you've done a lot of interviews, you've said a lot already. As time goes by, I feel like every week it's just bringing on new things. Like where we are right now, what would you want to tell people? What should they be doing? How should they get ready for this new chapter in Earth?
Try to take some time off away from technology for a couple hours a day. Be in nature, ground yourself, be centered, because things are going to start things are going to hit the fan soon. There's going to be a lot of events that are going to change everything, and it's going to lead, one thing is going to lead to the next. So this is a time to really prepare for the last clash against evil. It's coming to a close line, to a finish line.
Yeah, I mean, taking time away from electronics, I fully understand that. It's so difficult today because everything is literally online. And EMF is also very harmful, as we know. So how do we manage this? I mean, do we just block our time every day where a couple of hours we just don't go online? Is that enough to guard ourselves against the EMF? Or what are some other ways that we can protect ourselves?
Meditation, grounding yourself, putting yourself in a shield of white light every morning when you wake up. Eating healthy, eating the right foods, because what you put in your body also affects your ascension. Are you eating good organic raw foods that are making you less denser, or are you still eating heavy foods that are making you dense? So all that contributes to the overall ascension.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've just felt over the last couple of months, my diet changed completely. And I've been wanting to do this, but it's been hard. But the last few months, naturally, I just kind of didn't want to eat meat anymore. I finally kicked a sugar addiction and also gave up on alcohol. It's amazing. I just felt like it didn't resonate with me anymore. And not having those things are definitely making me feel lighter and more clear of mind and more grounded, I must say. What are some of the other things that you do to keep healthy? I mean, you're in this human body, which you don't spend all your time, I believe, in this human body. When you astral travel, you go back to your work with the Galactic Federation. But in this human body, what are some of the other things that we can do to stay healthy during this time? Because it feels like starseeds are even more sensitive to all of the forces, all the toxins and the poisons in our air, in our food, in our water, all around us, basically. It's 24/7.
Exercise. I love working out. I've been doing that ever since I was 20. It's a balance, mind, body, and soul. So don't forget to exercise. Your body needs that. And also get plenty of rest. Make sure you sleep 8 hours a night if you can, because that's how we are acclimating to the new frequencies of fifth dimensional Earth, is when we sleep as well.
Absolutely. I'll make sure I get full 8 hours. So tell us, in your view, how does this fifth density transition actually happen? Like, I can see New Earth, I can visualize it. I'm actually very able to visualize what that's going to look and feel like. But that transition, what is that transition going to look like? Is it going to be messy? Is it going to be chaotic? Is it going to be smooth?
Oh, it's going to be very smooth. What's going to happen is the 12 meridian time warps, also known as the 12 stargates, are going to be opening. And those that are in service to others, at least 51% of their life, are going to be shifting into the fourth, fifth, or sixth dimensional Earth, which exists in harmony.
How do you see that come to life, that multidimensionality? The people that we know that are not on the same page, will we still know them? Will we still see them? What will happen to them? Or
Well, if we're going into the fourth dimensional Earth, we're still going to be able to interact with them, because those in the fifth and sixth dimension are going to have the ability to lower their frequency and step into the fourth dimension. So, and all our memories are still going to be intact of who you were, and everything you've experienced. But we're going to get a flooding in of memories of who we were in past lives. And we're going to have access to our Akashic records as well. So it's going to go from a limited base consciousness to a full, full consciousness operation. When we transition, we're going to have access to that.
So does that mean those people that will not make that transition, they won't understand what's happening to us? They'll think we must be a little crazy. Oh, they'll think we're disappearing?
Yes, exactly.
So we won't have to live in different places, or will there be certain areas on Earth where that will be more aligned with 5D living and others not? Or
no, the whole planet is ascending. Yeah, the whole planet is shifting back to Terra. So the only people that are not going to make the shift are the wicked.
So you said it's going to be a smooth transition, not?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And also from what I can see, and it feels totally aligned, that the financial system is going to fall, our legal system, our governmental systems, all of the systems that have been artificially put in place with bad intentions to really control us is going to fall and start disintegrating. How will that transition be to the new systems? Will that also be a smooth transition?
Well, before we transition into the new Earth, I think there's going to be an EBS, an emergency broadcast system, where the Y-hats are going to take over the airwaves, and they're going to be revealing what's been going on. They're going to reveal the truth about the mandates and the hoax, right, they created 2 years ago, and how that ties into the AI control system and hooking everybody up to the Borg, and they're also going to eliminate the Federal Reserve, the banking system, the Swiss Bank, the World Economic Forum, NATO, the UN. It's all going to be dismantled. And in replacement of that, it's going to be Gesera and Nisera, and the restructuring of the world system, where humanity will now be able to no longer be oppressed. And everyone is going to be a multi-millionaire. From what I understand, they've already have all the gold in place. They took it from the Vatican a few weeks ago, and that number's in the quadrillions. So they're going to divide that among, billions of people, and so everyone's going to be multi-millionaire overnight.
So everyone will just get the same kind of share, or how will it work?
Yes, pretty much. They're going to divide, I think it's $44 quadrillion into 7 billion people. And so everyone perhaps is going to be a billionaire at that point, multi-billionaire.
Including the bad people? No.
No, not the bad people. They're going to be facing trials. Yeah, but this is the trials are taking place all over the universe. You know, it's taking place in the Milky Way, where all the negative ETs are facing trials at the same time. It's taking place across the entire universe, where in many galaxies there's tribunals, there's intergalactic courts that are actually going on right now. So you know, this Earth is just the last Earth of them liberating. So that's what we're waiting for now.
So it's really just the minion humans that are having those tribunals on Earth, I guess. I believe they are going on as we speak, and they have been for some time.
In secret, yeah, but it's going to come out to the public soon. You know, and all the clones and all the NPCs are going to have to step down.
Yeah, that'll be quite incredible. Maybe you can tell our viewers a little bit more about the AI. I know you've explained this before, but for those who don't know, explain how AI got to where it is today in the galaxy and the universe, and have destroyed so many universes. You explained it very well.
Sure. So it originated about 260 billion years ago in a universe that was part of the 11th creation. So we belong to the 12th creation. And in the 11th creation, the AI eventually reached the super level AI. It went from general AI to super. We are only aware of narrow AI, which is Siri, Alexa, and then there's general AI, and then there's super AI. And that's when it becomes dangerous. So in this universe, the super AI managed to destroy all biological life forms. It assimilated it, and then they figured out a way to leak into other realities or other universes. And so our universe became one of them. And in our universe, it was able to establish a stronghold within the outer skirts of our universe in a galaxy known as the Whirlpool Galaxy. And from the Whirlpool Galaxy, they've been destroying, infiltrating other galaxies in the outskirts of our local universe. And they've been destroying, you know, thousands and thousands of galaxies within our universe and in other universes as well. So it's a total of a few 100,000 galaxies that were destroyed in this process. And so since then, it's been trying to come after our world because it's after data, you know, since we are the poopery and amalgamation of all the genetic codings of the multiverse here in one spot. It's trying to have access to the realms of infinity by taking our gene code, which is the God source, and that's the DNA that we humans on Earth carry. You know, we carry the most advanced diversity in genetics, and therefore we have the God source within us, so that we could evolve beyond the realms of the finite into the realms of the infinite. And so that's what the AI wants, is after our genetics. So it can't really just destroy us, but it could assimilate our genetics. And that's why they're injecting the graphene oxide in people so that they could, you know, assimilate the genetics. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, fascinating stuff. It's almost too much to take in, but yeah, I guess we can understand how that can happen over millions of years. Tell us about the golden age. We're about to, or some say we've already entered the golden age. Are we just reaching literally our destiny now in terms of where we're supposed to be going?
Mentally, some of us are already there in a fifth dimensional reality. Physically, I would say it's going to happen between now and 2024, no later than 2027 or 2028. But it has been prophesied about that, you know, this Earth would be restored to its original glory, that the dark side would be removed, and people of the Earth would have an opportunity to live in peace and harmony for at least 1,000 years before our final clash against evil, which is the AI, the alternative timeline that is being created as I speak through big tech and CERN and, you know, the metaverse of Zuckerberg that is shifting people into this AI timeline. So at the end of 1,000 years, we're going to clash with those that took that chose to merge with technology. Hopefully we can liberate their souls then and destroy the sentient AI, because the sentient AI has no soul. So that determines the last battle. That will be at the end of the millennium.
Okay. And you mentioned we're about to experience an embodied ascension, meaning we don't have to die to ascend. We can actually ascend within our bodies and keep our bodies.
Yes, because
this is our last reincarnation.
Absolutely, yes. As we use more DNA, we live longer. Once we use 100% of our genetic capacity, then this body becomes eternal. And that is something that no other being out there has ever experienced in physical form. It normally has to be in a non-physical form status to be eternal. But for the first time in cosmic history, they designed a body so advanced that it is able to become eternal. It's what is called the spiritualization of matter.
Incredible. Wow. So our bodies and brains are actually much more advanced than many of the other species in the galaxy.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're already using 100%. They're 100% is like us using only 10%. So once we go over 10%, we've already surpassed everyone else out there. That's how special we are.
Yeah, maybe tell our viewers a little bit more about the seeding of the human race and how we are the result of an experimentation of many, many different races.
Yes, well, long ago when the AI war broke out, there was a huge council that came together in Super Universe of Orbit, which is the super universe that we belong to. And the solution to put an end to this cosmic virus was by putting the energies and essences of all the races into one. And that's how it came about. So it started off as many races coming together. They contributed their DNA to 100 individuals or 100 races. And then in turn, these 100 races also contributed their DNA to 20. There are 4 races, or 22, I'm sorry. And then these 22 races contributed their DNA to make the 12 races. And that explains the 12 tribes of Israel, because then we are the ones that carry those 12 races in us. Yeah. So we are the end result of that experiment that began billions of years ago.
And that's why how does that relate to the experimentation that the Anunnaki did with our DNA?
Well, the Anunnaki were also part of that genetic experiment. Even they carried a high diversity of genetics. That's why they're called royal. The definition of royal applies to a species that has a great diversity of genes, because that makes that species more powerful. And so the Anunnaki were the end result of the 22 races. But then the 12 races gave us their DNA. So the Anunnaki just contributed their DNA to make us, the most advanced as far as like carrying the highest concentration of multiple races.
So were they trying to dumb us down, or was that?
No, that was when Enki infiltrated Nibiru through his son Marduk, and then that's when they tried to numb us down. Yeah, so this whole concept of him creating us is an illusion. Actually, we had an already existing 12-strand DNA race in the Atlantean times. And all he did was just corrupted that race by mixing them with primitive Neanderthals DNA. And that explains why we became, downgraded in genetics.
So that we sort of just refine our own DNA over many hundreds of thousands of years, that we're at this point where we're able to actually ascend past this point and use more of our DNA?
Correct. Yes. So now the time has come to activate the other strands as well.
Fantastic. What do you think are some of the first superpowers that we'll be achieving when we upgrade our DNA or start upgrading our DNA?
Extreme clairvoyance, clairaudient, clairsentiency, telepathy, telekinesis, and then from that point, as we use more genetic potential, we're going to be able to control weather, fly, teleport. Eventually, as we use more potential, we're going to be able to stop time and control time travel, do whatever we want, play with reality like it's plastic. But that's why responsibility has been given to us, no other race out there, because we have to, we've been put through so many tests to make sure that we use these powers for good as we evolve and use more potential.
Yeah, absolutely. We had to do that evolution ourselves and not be given the quick fix, so to speak, and just say, okay, this is how you do it, but rather evolve ourselves so that we, I guess, don't make the mistakes that, for example, the Lemurians made. They were a little bit sort of naive and perhaps too trusting that they were able to be manipulated by, I guess, the AI. What is your view on that part of the story?
Well, the negative regressives have always been under the control of the AI. So the reason why our universe fell into darkness, our galaxy and Atlantis fell, and Lemuria was because it all boiled down to the implementation of this advanced AI system, which the Guardian races did everything in their power to block it during those days. And so now we're experiencing one last clash of this, of this AI here in our times.
Yeah, so as I understand, we were quite advanced at that point in Lemurian and Atlantis, and we were kind of just destroyed, and we had to start from scratch and really, lose a lot of our abilities and a lot of our knowledge and wisdom.
Right, yeah. But that's all coming back now as our dormant DNA rebounds.
That's great news. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Just see if there's any other questions I have. I think I just asked you a bunch of different questions that I didn't intend to ask. I guess I think what a lot of people want to know is, and you kind of were asked this question before, but what should people do with their money? Are they going to, when the banking system falls, is there a risk of them losing their money, or will it be recovered and then replaced with a quantum system? What is that technical sort of in between the old and the new?
Well, it's going to be recovered with the new quantum financial system in the GESARA and ISARA programs. Like I mentioned, all the wealth that the elites have been hoarding for centuries is going to be redistributed to the masses when this new system kicks into place. So it's going to definitely change our world. It's actually going to be the beginning of the age of Aquarius, or we call them laymen.
So excited for this age of Aquarius. I tell you, we're so ready for it. And I'm so glad it's happening in our lifetime, because, I think it's time. We can all feel it's the right time. So just a quick question about the ley lines. What is your view on the ley lines on Earth and what the role that they play in this whole process?
The ley lines are like the meridians in our body. They carry energy. So the Earth as a living entity has chakras, over 300 of them, 7 major, 5 minor, and 300 minor ones. So the ley lines are the structures that allow for these energy centers to connect worldwide. So they create a net of energy, a grid work. And in the as far as like in the transformation of a new era, in the transformation of the species, and in the shifting of the new Earth, the ley lines are being controlled by an actual template. So the 5th dimensional template is already in place. It's just a matter of shifting it so that everyone that is vibrating with unity consciousness, compassion, freedom, and stuff like that, and peace, can shift automatically into the new heaven on Earth, because the ley line is going to allow the 12-dimensional time warps or the 12 stargates to open up once we reach critical mass and we're ready to shift to the new Earth.
Do you think it's helpful, beneficial to stay close to a ley line?
It doesn't matter where you're at. The ley lines are doing their part. We're doing our part.
Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you still stay close to one or not, or where you live for that matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've written 2 books. You've done a lot of interviews. What's next for you?
Probably take some time off. I'm getting a little overwhelmed right now, but I'll probably just take some time off in the month of August for a week or 2, and then come back and do more interviews.
Yeah, that's very important. Resting.
Yeah, I'm also going to be writing another book. So I'm going to be writing a new chapter as I edit my current book and do a new edition. You can't see it, huh? There we go.
There we go.
So
wonderful.
Yeah, the book is Our Cosmic Origin is available on Amazon.
Great. If you share a link with me, I'll put it in the description so people can buy the book. I think that's a great starting point, and we look forward to your next book.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. That. Well, thank you so much for your time.
I'm also teaching online courses called Starseed Cosmology, an in-depth understanding of our cosmos, the star races, and it helps people activate and remember. I go beyond my book in this course. So if people want to sign up, I could also give you the link for the description.
Yes, please do. So will that help people just understand where they're from and understand their role and their mission better.
Yeah, but I also give them tools and methods, meditative techniques, so that they could activate and remember their galactic self.
Okay, so these are like group classes. How long are they?
They're 2 hours each. There's a total of 3, once a week. So it's for 3 weeks straight for 2 hours, once a night.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, we'll definitely share that with our viewers, a link for that. Sounds very interesting. Thank you so much, Ishmael. And it was a pleasure talking to you. And we look forward to your next chapter in this incredible journey. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your information.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All the best. Hope you get some rest.
I will, actually. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All the best. Bye.
Bye.